Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 257, I believe. Sounds right?
I think so.
We're back down in the basement, talk about another week of wrestling. AEW Dynamite will be discussed in depth. We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about NXT. We'll do some trivia in between. Timestamps are there to navigate wherever you like. If you have a favorite section or one you hate, you want to skip, do that too. How could you skip any of this? So, I don't know. I played 5 hours of pickleball today. This might be the part you timestamp past as I talk about pickleball. 2 sessions, a couple hours each. Very fun. I don't know. Beautiful day today.
Sounds so thrilling.
Worked winding down for me, so
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Only had to go in for like 2 hours today. That was great. You have grad coming up?
I have done nothing this week.
Right, because you were done school last week.
Well, no, it was this week.
Well, you didn't have school this week. You were done.
No, I still had school on Tuesday.
Oh, just Tuesday. That's true.
Yeah.
But not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I didn't even go for Tuesday, really. I was just there, but not doing class.
You went to an escape room. Thought it was
Yeah.
fun.
It was all right.
Did not escape.
No.
No?
I also went to the mall. Like, I've done things this week, but, like, also haven't really done things
Just
this week.
normal living things.
Yeah.
Bought some figure.
Oh, Darth Malak.
Right.
Star Wars stuff.
Star Wars stuff.
I'm waiting for them to, like, I don't think GameStop's going to get the Marvel figures I'm waiting for, so I'm waiting to order because I want my John Walker.
Whoever that is. Don't even know.
Kurt Russell's kid.
Oh, great. I saw your cap and gown up there, I think.
Yeah.
Got all that ready to go.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited for a day where I have to do so much to get a diploma.
Yes, you do. You got to walk
It's so,
across
like,
the stage.
The whole, like, so organized. It's so just so many things that I don't want to do.
It's not that many, is it? What do you really have to do?
I don't know. Just the whole the thing where they were explaining it made it sound like so much thing that I don't want.
You just sit there and then walk across the stage and then...
Yeah, but they're like putting me in a room and then like
Yes.
ushering me somewhere and
Yes.
putting me somewhere else. And it's just like, I'd rather just honestly, I would be
Adonistly?
fine. Honestly, I'd be fine taking the drive-through diploma again.
you kind of like that in grade 8.
I really did.
COVID, we just drove by, stood out on the front lawn with like your teacher and your principal or something.
Yeah,
and called it a day.
You know me, I love the pomp and circumstance of all this.
There will be that at this for sure.
Oh yeah, that's totally my style.
And there's a chance it's going to be stupid hot too.
That's even better. And it's not like I'm in something that's big and sun attracting. Or
Monday is supposed to hit like with humidity 40 something
I'll
possibly.
just live at the pool or something.
So they're saying they might move your exams on Monday, not you, but the school, because it's going to be so hot. They're going to try and move them all down to the main floor.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they moved the day. I'm like,
no.
When they say weather cancellation days for exams, I don't think that's what they mean.
They do have inclement weather days
But,
scheduled
like,
in there just in case.
That's usually first semester because that's in the winter.
Well, they have them for both. We don't
I know,
ever
but
use it in semester.
That's why it would be stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else you want to discuss before we get into this?
I guess I can mention here because I don't know if I want to mention it in Highspots and Restholds, but since it's on YouTube, I watched the greatest tag match ever last night again. And it's like
last night again?
Yeah.
Is that your second time recently?
I watched like half of it
Oh, okay.
a couple
I
weeks ago.
thought so.
I never finished it, but it's so good.
It is good.
It's so great.
It is.
And it feels long and drawn out, but it's only half an hour. Like I feel like it could have been longer, but like because you get hot tags from multiple people, and it's just like
half an hour is nothing.
And even if you remember the story, which I do, like the story going in that's so good. Just it's such a great match.
It was.
I think it absolutely holds up. Like
that's good.
Over 5 years later, but it's in there. It's so great. I love that.
And I've still been revisiting some WCW 1990.
That reminds me. Okay, so because I saw WCW at a YouTube channel, and so hold on, should I mention? I'm just gonna do it now because like this is when I remember and I'm gonna forget again.
Yep. Go ahead.
So I saw there was the WCW YouTube channel, and so I was looking at that, and I was looking at their playlist.
I use it a lot.
And so they have in their full pay-per-views. Let's look at this. I'll have to pause the video so then. But like, okay, so Super Bowl Revenge 2001. That's good because it's 2001. They also have, I think it's Greed 2001, but Uncensored 2000, famously horrible. Uncensored 96, famously horrible. Uncensored 95, famously horrible. Then we also have there's not that many, but like 3 famously horrible shows, and then a couple of 2001 shows. Oh, they also have the one with where Jay Leno wrestled a match.
Amazing.
So I would like to do some bonus episodes.
So I would love watching.
Well, because we've been talking about doing
so bad
shitty WCW reviews, and this is the best we got because they're not on Netflix, right? That's the thing is like. because I saw someone post about watching Nitro, and I was like, oh, cool, where can we watch it? And they were like, Peacock, and I'm like,
I know.
because does that work for us?
No,
Like,
I don't
if we
think
were
so.
to get, is Peacock
I don't
even a
know.
thing we can get here?
I don't know.
I'd rather get Max.
I don't know why Netflix isn't getting the full library. It's annoying.
Plus, that would rake in so much more for them, I feel like.
So I was watching the 1990 because I don't
They have...
remember where I saw it, but I remember I was trying to figure out.
They have Capital Combat 1990 with RoboCop. Is that what you're watching?
No, I didn't watch that one.
but
I was
that's
trying to
there.
figure out when I was watching it on TV as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have cable, so we just had a TV tower and we
Sure.
picked up. And so I remember Doom being unmasked. So that's what triggered. Okay, I'll look that up because it was 1990.
So they have the full pay-per-view events there, and then like so there's Clash of Champions events, there's full matches, and then like there's Thunder and Nitro full episodes. So
I've been
wonder
watching Thunder as well.
I wonder if we could find the right Nitro, because here's the thing, I'd like to have the pre-context if I can, like if we're watching
A little bit before a couple
that's
weeks
what Wrestling with
before.
Regret always does, and I really
Yeah.
like that. But he's also in the States, and he can have Peacock and watch all the
Right.
necessary, like I'm sure there's a way we could do it, but I don't know. Anyways, I'd like to watch because we could do a trio of uncensored reviews, because that's like a famously bad show, especially the '96 one, because that's the Alliance and Hulkamania with the Doomsday cage,
Oh, yeah.
triple decker
Yeah,
cage.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's
some quality
what we
stuff.
like to see.
That is what we like to see. Okay.
We could get the follow up to
Summer's here. We can talk extra stuff.
follow up to what's it called again? No Holds Barred, because Zeus is in that, right?
Yes. We
Him
did
and-
review that. I forgot.
That is
Back in the
a
day.
great one. We should watch at some point. 'Cause I've never watched They Live,
Oh, I have. I liked it.
because that's actually a good one.
With
right?
Roddy Piper?
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Or I watched a review of We Should Watch Ready to Rumble.
Oh, God. I'm pretty sure I watched that. I don't know.
That sounds like a good one.
Anyways, I say we get into things. Wrestling time officially. We'll talk about some of the week's news and rumors. Slim pickings on the news again, I thought, this week.
Yeah, it was not.
When you can't pad it with ratings, what do you really do? What do you got to do?
There's nothing stopping you.
No, I checked this
except
week.
your own, like,
NXT had a good week.
Dynamite had a good week, actually.
Or sorry,
You're
Dynamite
saying,
did.
right?
NXT was down 8, Dynamite was up. But anyways, no one cares. Liv Morgan, I think at the time I said expected, but I think it's confirmed now, shoulder surgery for her in what looked like not so bad of a landing, but
It didn't look that bad. But I've heard
instantly she knew she was done. She like rolled to the floor and got
Yeah.
help right away, so that's good. Right at the beginning of the match with Kairi Sane, like within the first 30 seconds probably. And so like it gets you thinking, she's in a lot of stuff, eh?
That's their rewriting Evolution stuff.
Because clearly they were going somewhere Bella with her.
Roxanne, obviously.
And then she's got the Balor thing going on, the Roxanne thing going on. She's a tag champion, right? So it might be the person involved in like the most stuff, honestly. To be out.
I would say so, at least on Raw.
On
for
Raw.
sure.
Yeah, that's all I
Even
can see.
SmackDown, I guess, who would be involved in more stuff.
But anyways, hopefully she recovers quickly because she was in some serious pain for sure.
Yeah.
What do you got? Hopefully you don't steal any of mine because I only have like 4.
Speaking of SmackDown, they're moving back to 2 hours on July 4th.
Oh, they are officially?
Yeah, they're going to old yeller that format, which is good because
That's
I don't
good
know how
because
it's
last I
going.
heard is they were happy with the third hour or whatever
yeah.
ad revenue probably. So that's good. I mean, I probably still won't watch it, but it makes me
I won't.
2% more likely to check it out.
I will say it makes me 0.2%.
Because if I watched it on the network, right, or on Netflix, sorry, by the time it was on there, it'd be like an hour and a half-ish without
I
commercials.
still don't understand how that works.
I don't either, but
Because, like, it changes.
NXT was like an hour 17 this week.
Like,
It was
I don't get it.
nothing.
But then, like, with Raw, aren't you missing some things sometimes?
Yes.
With, like, the little... Like,
Yes.
It's weird. I don't understand how it works.
I don't either. And I don't understand, because I think, okay, full disclosure.
I understand no commercials.
Even
but,
though we
like,
pay for Netflix, that's not where I watch it because
Well, yeah.
I like to be able to hold down and it's double speed to get through stuff. So I think I get some of the extra stuff because I think some across the segments, which I think I've seen all of them. I think his are some of the things that get not for everybody.
Of course,
maybe.
because he got over. That's on him.
That's right. He got over on his own when they didn't want
That's
him
on
to.
him.
Another thing I have is We always say we're going to watch it. We never do. But we actually checked out Takeshita's matches. It's G1.
That's true.
Almost G1 season. Did you see the blocks were announced?
Yeah.
I
did look at it and then I forgot.
I thought block B looked okay. So block A is Goto, Bolton, Uemura, Tsuji, Finley, Evil, Sonata, Tanahashi.
Yeah, Evil. Let's go. And Tanahashi?
So either Taichi or Callum Newman. I don't know if they had those matches yet.
That sounds awesome.
Or Oiwa or Bad Luck Fale, who's now.
Yes.
What was his name?
Don.
Don. I was telling you, I'm sure it's supposed to mean like Don as in boss of the family, but I think of it as like, it's your Uncle Don. It's Donnie from down the street.
He's Bullet Club's uncle. Although, actually, you see him and Chase Owen are in House of Torture now. Ooh.
Amazing. So block B, El Phantasmo, who I think's working with a knee injury right now, or is trying to
LP.
take some time off. Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Zack Sabre Jr. So already
That already sounds better.
this pool's better. Great O'Khan, I know he's not your favorite.
He sucks.
Gabe Kidd.
Yeah.
Ren Narita, not my favorite.
Nope.
Takeshita.
Yeah.
Either Ishii or Drilla Maloney. I don't know who won or if it's happened yet. Or Yoshihashi or Chase Owens.
I would take Yoshi and probably Drilla.
But that block looks pretty good, so I'll check out
okay,
some
I'm
block
glad that's
B.
the one Takeshita's in.
Yeah, Takeshita. So we'll get Takeshita, Takagi, Umino, Phantasmo,
Takeshita ELP
Kid.
again, because remember that was the really good one from last year.
And Sabre.
Takeshita,
Those will
ELP.
all be good.
Takeshita Sabre would be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
actually.
so maybe we'll check some out.
I will probably follow Takeshita and nobody else.
Yeah. Well, he delivered last year, so
There's a reason they brought him back.
for sure.
There's a reason they signed him too, even though he's in AEW. Yeah, same difference.
Your turn.
Happy news for you. I think I was either going
I
to
like
text you
that.
this or I did text you this.
I don't know.
That Bryan Danielson's expected to wrestle
did?
again. I did text you that. Yeah, because he made an appearance on the ROH show that was in Arena Mexico.
I saw.
So he's believed to be wrestling, or he's expected to wrestle again. It's believed like things like because Yuta's been using his moves a lot. It's believed things like that are kind of leaving his opening.
Good, because I didn't think he was done, right? Like the
I
idea
never thought he
gonna
was
do
done.
the odd.
Because they said it was like the end of his full-time run, yada yada.
Right, the way they phrased it.
I could see them building to him and Yuta all in maybe, and like maybe he's part of Hangman's journey. You know what I mean? Like last
Yuta
year,
did steal the Psycho knee.
and he was doing cattle mutilation the
Right.
1 week, and he was doing like the workaround and whatever. I could see Danielson facing Yuta all in because it'd be a big show that could use Danielson's star power, and also then Danielson, like he had his journey last year, so now he could help Hangman on his right.
I do miss him.
Like chill with Ospreay and Swerve, right? Although it'd be weird with him working with Swerve after last year. Anyways, I could see him doing that.
Remember how much I loved him? Because I was like,
He was
I
awesome.
respected him, but didn't love him. And when he first got to AEW, that stretch, I was like, this guy's amazing at everything.
Yeah, and he didn't win a title until he won the world title for a bit.
I assume you saw this one. Moxley and AEW being sued.
Yeah,
Civil assault, battery, and negligence. So civil means not criminal. It would just be like money, basically paying damages. So did you see the footage?
I did.
Yeah. So I guess in storyline, this production team member was supposed to hand him a screwdriver, I think, and Moxley just went rogue and shoved him down. And I guess the guy required cervical spine surgery, shoulder surgery.
There's no way you'd require all that. From
Additional
a shove.
medical treatment. I don't know.
That's
but
crazy.
If that's true, that's crazy. So
That
it
is
was
crazy.
2 years
I'm always
ago,
skeptical
right?
when people are like trying to get their money. You know.
I don't know. I'd like to assume the best in people and that he actually got hurt doing it. But anyways, it would just mean they'll pay money.
Yeah, which I'm sure is not a problem.
But just interesting. Like you see Mox just shoves him down.
I did see that. Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. That's the match where Omega did the V trigger through the cage. My favorite thing is someone posted a clip of that with Mr. Brightside playing over that.
Nice.
Because, he says, coming out of my cage.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's really
Nice.
funny.
I only have one more.
I have a few more. I'll go with this one. To keep it on AEW. Hook is reportedly dealing with a concussion.
Yeah.
That might come up later because I was like, where the hell is he?
Yeah.
After he appeared at Double or Nothing. And like they were kind of teasing something.
And then
And
no.
he's gone. So I guess that's what it is.
And as we know, they can linger. Your mom's is still.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned it later. I was like, I thought maybe it was like the Undisputed Kingdom and Wardlow where they were teasing something with him, then he got injured, and then they just stopped. That's fine. If Hook ends up leaving like Wardlow, I really don't care. At this
Off to
point.
American Gladiators.
Yeah, right. I really don't care about Hook anymore. So
less interested in him than I used to be, for sure.
I'm honestly perfectly fine with Hobbs being in the ops.
Me too.
Because I'm glad with Hobbs.
I like Hobbs a lot.
I'm glad Hobbs getting a featured spot in there, right? Even though I was saying this week, like, they haven't defended the belts yet, I feel like.
No, I don't
but
think so.
still, like, they've been featured.
They have. They've been visible on the show, for sure.
And so I think that's better for... I'd rather that time be spent on Hobbs.
Me too.
Even though I think, like, stylistically, Hook, Shibata, and Joe kind of have, like, that pseudo-MMA vibe to them. But I like Hobbs more, so I'll take the slight.
And they just have a mauler with them now, too.
Yeah, right.
So that's fine.
So I'm fine with that.
Last thing I had, I think you were telling me, but I'm stealing it. NXT stars apparently this is from the rumor part of this, I guess, to join Seth Rollins' faction.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the call up is like, because so they're being rumored to be called up, and then also it's rumored to, like, they're being discussed to put in the faction. I don't know if those will go hand in hand, or if they'll just call one up without putting them in the faction.
So the two being talked about are Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. So I think either one's a good fit.
I would rather put Starks in there because I think Ego is a lot more. Like,
I was telling you,
because he's big on his own.
They do seem a little bit like it's Rollins and two henchmen. They need to add somebody that feels
their outfits don't help.
I know, they just look like his big security dudes, right? So either Page or Saints would help that, but I think Saints more, and he'd be good.
He's like a perfect Intercontinental Champion,
right? And he can talk.
Who has the title right now? Don't tell me it's Dom, right? Okay,
yes,
I remembered.
And a Page would be great because he's a pro, and whatever they give him, he'll do well. But I think even though I prefer Page to Saints,
it
I
also
feel like
depends
Saints
on
is a better
how
fit.
Over Saints is, because he seems pretty popular, and if you don't want to like turn him heel, then Ego's already heel.
That's
kind
true.
of thing.
That is true. Yeah,
so
Saints, people like Saints, so
it kind of depends. Either way, I think either of them is a solid fit. Like, I don't think
I do think they need to add somebody.
I do. I always like when you have four because it gives you like that player on every level kind of thing.
Yeah,
like main
which
event
is my favorite
mid card tag, right? And also we need to like. And so that they're just not the Braun security guys, book Braun and Braun as a killer tag team. Because like I was saying to you, they could be like a better Smash Mouth version of like an AOP type team where they're both big dudes beating everybody up.
And they can wrestle.
Right. That's why I said they're AOP if they could wrestle.
It just feels like the whole faction is in service of Rollins, and I thought they were starting out showing us that it's like Heyman and Rollins are mentoring Breakker, right?
Which I think it's kind of the point is that like he is mentoring them. But it's also a vehicle to get himself.
It is,
obviously,
for sure.
Right? And that could always sow the breakup later on.
I'm sure it will.
But yeah,
I have nothing else.
Last one I had was the original All In plans were going to be May versus Storm again and Monet versus Athena. Mm-hmm. So the plan would have been that Monet would have lost to Athena in the Owen Cup as I'd predicted, and it would have built to a rematch as I'd called, but. Like, I literally called this. We remember. I had planned it out, and I thought it was perfect. But plans changed in May, and indicated she would be leaving. So now May being gone sucks because, A, she's awesome, and I hate her NXT presentation so far.
We'll get to that for sure.
Yeah. And she also ruined my golden plan. Like, this proves... Hey, at least I couldn't say I would have been right.
Yeah.
Because, like, remember we were looking at the brackets, and I literally called that out. Now, whether... Hater would have won, like I said, or whatever. That's a whole nother thing. I guess it would have been May. But at least the Monet part, I called out beat for beat, right? Like, Athena wins, and then they would have a rematch later on. And then I think it was since Monet wasn't, I think, yeah, after May left, they saw no point in her dropping her first loss to Athena in there. So, like, then she became the next best option to win the tournament. So that's fair. I think Monet is a solid backup for...
I don't know why Athena still isn't on Dynamite every week. I don't get what the problem is.
Because I've seen WWE have interest in her again. If
She's
they
awesome.
Take her back, then I would say that is a fumble on Tony Khan's part.
Me too. It's weird.
Like,
toiling in Ring of Honor.
The Tony fumble chants annoy me so much because, like, yeah, they keep re-signing people from AEW that they had before, but then it's like, and sure, they're doing good with, like, I guess Vicaire, but Vicaire wasn't very AEW, but, like, you could argue Ego or Starks have been doing really well for themselves, but then you have Spears, who took a while to kind of find something decent. You have Andrade floundering, doing nothing. Rusev's already looking shaky. Aleister Black's booking's already in the gutter. Like,
listen, WWE, that machine whoever they decide to get behind, they can make them a success, right? It's just
Well, and again, it's like you've been saying, the moments.
yes,
The moment of Aleister Black
moments,
coming
not
back.
stories.
Rusev on the, because like all the returns on the post-Mania shows are really cool, but then you have to kind of follow up.
Yep, they're not good at that right now.
Yeah, that's a little.
Yep.
But yeah, and that would have been nice too, because then that's guaranteed 2 women's matches. And now with Monet being the mid-card champion, now you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And I don't have full confidence they're going to build a non-title storyline around the women.
So many eggs in her basket.
It's like she has a whole Easter
Right.
basket of eggs. I mean, the only other possible match I could see is if we have to introduce the stupid women's tag titles at All In.
Feels like they're for Mello and Jay. Right? Doesn't he? Don't you think though?
Almost. No, nothing should be for Jay.
And then you've got Ford and
Bane, and then who else though?
I don't know.
Like Harley Cameron and someone. I thought Harley Cameron was
Some of the
Jay,
CMLL.
I guess.
I don't know.
But like, I really hope not.
Zeuxis?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Anyways, we'll get into hey, there's a segue. Speaking of Zeuxis, we will now get into what I would call a very in-ring heavy episode, as we break down.
It was basically the only thing.
It was. As we break down this past Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite. Special episode of Dynamite.
I mean, I don't even know if you can call it Dynamite. It's like...
Oh, yeah, it wasn't technically
it's
again,
Grand
was it?
Slam Mexico.
Right.
It's crazy because since the last time they did the Grand Slam show, which was the Australia one, which was in place of a collision, it's crazy because on that show were Jay White and Mariah May.
Oh, right.
One of which has been now injured and one of which is doing NXT.
Really cool crowd for this. And
I really like just the uniqueness
set
of
was
the whole
nice,
set.
too.
The ramp kind of bows out and is ring level.
Even I noticed it, which
the
is...
stairs, they have stairs on the entranceway and like screens here.
Yeah, it
and
looked
screens
great.
On top. Like it's a different look and it's very Mexico and I like that. Like it just felt like...
Great crowd.
Yeah, the
Just-
crowd was pretty into things.
If you're here for stories, you're not getting any.
Other than Hangman, which kicks us off. He spoke most of it in Spanish, so there's not a lot to talk about. I think he talked about growing up on a tobacco farm.
He did. I read a translation.
He thanked CMLL for hosting them. And he talked about how he won't be around during the main event because there's a clause he can't be around the Death Riders during the main event. But
when it's over,
he's going to get Moxley. Said good energy, but no habla español.
Yeah, and this is really cool for the crowd in attendance, but not so much for us because he spoke with such a steady cadence and he did a really good job by all accounts.
Yeah, like
even
I thought
though
he had a good delivery and everything.
Excalibur was trying to translate at times,
but he didn't do a thorough job.
And he was being drowned out too because Hangman wasn't stopping, right? So,
and the crowd is cheering.
Excalibur's trying to translate and Hangman's still talking, so I didn't really catch much of anything. But again, it wasn't for us on TV. It was for the people in attendance, and I think they really appreciate. I was telling you, I saw a story that apparently they didn't know he could speak Spanish so well, and they're all over.
That's really good though. If he's going to be the top guy again, though,
yeah,
because then you can send him out for a couple CMLL shows or whatever, and keep that relationship strong. Right?
That's right. Yep.
So that's pretty good for him and AEW. Actually,
I would agree.
I think that's cool.
And he's just a interesting guy, right? Like, oh, by the way, he speaks pretty good Spanish.
Yeah, right. So that was really cool. And it wasn't just like the token one Spanish line that like a lot of times they'll do, right?
Yes.
Because that happens like a lot of the time.
Yes.
When it's a different language place.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
Basically, he was talking about working with a lot of Mexicans, and it was a very, as you would expect from Hangman, like a unifying message, kind of like we all can learn from each other and work together sort of thing, which is a pretty cool thing to do.
So not a ton in the way of storyline.
No.
But it does kind of set up some storyline stuff later. So it was still productive enough, at least. Then we kick off with a 14-man tag match.
I'm not even writing the names.
Get ready. I'll list them off, right? So we have a few guys in the Don Callis family. So I'll list off. The heel squad is Dax Harwood, because Cash Wheeler's unavailable for some reason. It's Dax Harwood, Volador Jr., Hechicero, Takeshita, Archer, and Josh Alexander.
Right.
Takeshita, Archer, Alexander, yeah. And then they're taking on Bandito, Atlantis, the old one, Atlantis Jr., the young one, Brody King, Dan Garcia, and Adam Cole. Commentary, it's worth noting that the fans love Old Man Atlantis and don't really like the younger one.
Yeah, they were particular in some spot.
But then I thought they booed the old one too, so it was funny. Harwood hit a... Oh, and Templario is there too. So did I forget to write down Templario? I did. I will add him right now.
How dare you?
The Templar.
That's right.
As we've learned. You were just saying that the mask I don't love, the design of with the cross or whatever, is helpful to you at least.
It is, because I know who it is.
That is actually a good point. Howard with a short arm lariat to Garcia. Templario and Atlantis Jr. with a dropkick wheelbarrow suplex for 2. Cole chops on Archer a couple super kicks, last shot to the face. King with a Death Valley driver on the apron to Alexander. Fletcher gets beat up by Old Man Atlantis, which looked horrible.
It did.
Then all the baby faces take a shot on Fletcher. Bandito with a hot tag flurry. Avalanche overhead belly to belly from Alexander for 2. Templario and Bandito hit stereo. Avalanche moonsault. Follow slams to Alexander and Takeshita. Templario almost under rotated.
It was a little scary.
Crowd is hot and they do not like Atlantis Jr. And I can't say I blame them. I think he's boring. Alexander shoved him off the top rope and the crowd's just like, yay!
And he oversold it too.
Oh, it was so funny though. It actually made me chuckle. King hit a running Hurricane Rana, Hechicero pretty crazy, and then a suicide dive on him and Takeshita. And then it was at this point, I think they were booing Old Man Atlantis a bit, because I wrote, maybe the crowd doesn't like Atlantis either.
It didn't seem like it.
Then he rolled up Dax with a small package for the win, which I thought was a baffling decision.
Same. So this kind of right away had this similar feel to Worlds Collide, right? Kind of like...
Yeah, it definitely did, right?
Exhibition rather than like an important part of the canon kind of thing, which can be fine if it's fun.
Yeah, I just think it's like it was too many people. It's not like it wasn't enjoyable. It's too much, you know.
Fletcher had some great heel heat in the middle. They really wanted to see him get his ass kicked. And there's good action in this, but like you're saying, the fact that there's 14 people just kind of seemed diluted and not really serious, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, it's just, and especially when we're including people like Old Man Atlantis. Really.
And I found you weren't paying close attention, and I found myself like, I'm like looking for wrestling news when normally I try to pay attention to everything. So none of the CMLL guys really stood out to me.
The only one I really like is Hechicero here, and then also later on, I really like Dorada.
So that's, sorry, I should clarify. The ones that aren't already affiliated with, the ones that haven't been in the ones that I'm seeing now, right? I'm not a big, I do like
we're big on Hechicero, and I think Dorados look really cool too, because they're the ones that stand out to me, because Hechicero has that technical wizardry that none of the other ones do.
Sorry, what's the term they try and
the
force?
Alchemist.
The Alchemist.
That's the ring, yeah. But like, he's really cool, because he does things differently that I've never seen
and
before.
He's a little bigger. He's just kind of
a little bigger, but like, he's still athletic, and he does really cool submission and technical work, which makes him stand out amongst all the flippy arm drags and lucha libre, right?
Of and all then, like small to medium size.
And then Dorada is the typical lucha libre guy, where he's super flippy and
but he's clean,
small, but he's really clean and does it really well. Like he's super flashy and fast compared to like I find Templario and Atlantis and Mystico do really basic stuff and aren't as fast and aren't as interesting, and I'll talk more about that later when we get to Mystico. But like, just to talk on, I've never been impressed with Atlantis Jr. Like, that's why it bothered me I think it was last year or something, when he beat Fletcher for the ROH TV title out of nowhere. Like, that kind of was whatever. And then in the couple times we've seen him, I've never been impressed with Templario either.
No, me either.
And so, like I'm saying, I feel like the multi-man tag match, it goes far out the window when we have more than double the people I like to have.
Yep.
So I think 6 people is perfect. 8 is still really strong. And
14's crazy.
Like I'll say in the main event, 10 is still okay sometimes.
You can do it.
I think like, cause
this
I think
was a bit
not to spoil too much. I think the main event was pretty good.
Yeah.
But once we go into double digits, it starts to be a problem, and especially when we're going over 10. Like 10's the max.
I just found myself in this enjoying the action between the AEW roster guys. And that's not really the point, right? So I don't...
Because Hechicero wasn't
super successful for me, I guess, in that sense. But not bad,
the action was solid. It's just numbers. Like, I can't remember a single thing Volador Jr. did, and Old Man Atlantis was not really factored in until the finish.
There was a little stretch with, what is it, Volador, that I did not enjoy.
I don't remember very much anything.
Like... standing in, you were clearly aware that he was not really fighting, which annoys me sometimes.
The finish was lame. I don't think
the finish
Old
was
Man Atlantis should be
caught
beating
me by
anybody
surprise
here.
for sure.
Yeah. Then we get Briscoe taking on Okada. Briscoe with a cannonball through the ropes. He hit a Fisherman Buster for 2, Elbow drop from Okada, and he flips off the fans. Briscoe comes back and hits a froggy bow for 2. Okada misses a Rainmaker, nails the dropkick. It's a tombstone and a Rainmaker for the win. Pretty quick one.
That was good, but I was hoping
Good,
for
but
more
better.
because they've both been killing it lately. So I just assumed like this will be awesome, but I wanted to love it. I didn't. Like I thought. I'm not saying it was bad by any means, but it definitely like you say this a lot. I think there's a better match in there between these two guys.
I agree. Like they're never gonna put in a bad showing. Like Briscoe's always great, and Okada is steady as ever, right? But I do think there was a bit something missing here. I think. Like, we did get the pre-match vignette for Briscoe challenging him, but I would have liked a little more, and also just...
Could be as simple as, like, this feels like they're doing an exhibition. It's not part of any serious story or whatever.
But that's not even always a bad thing, because, like, Mox and Briscoe the other week was kind of exhibitionist, too, but that was a really fun match. You know
Something
what I mean?
was missing in this one.
So, yeah, it was still a solid match and a quality win for Okada, but not either man's best effort. Still not a bad one, because I think they're incapable of having bad matches.
Me too. Yeah, Briscoe's been crushing it lately.
I think Briscoe is really, like, you can't call him wrestler of the year because he's not major, but, like, he's
very valuable part of the roster.
He's really underrated as, like, an integral part of the roster. Like...
He's probably a bargain, I'm thinking, for them.
Yeah, right? And to someone not in the know, he'd be someone, like, if you're doing the WWE release cuts... If it's TKO, they'd be cutting him if he's making too much.
Right.
But I think you look at his work week to week for most of the year.
The response he gets from the crowd.
Incredibly valuable, and how popular he is and how talented he is in the ring and his ability to make other people look good.
Every roster needs a guy like him at this point.
Like, I honestly like having him in the C2 every year because he's a perfect fall guy.
Yep.
And I know I'm going to enjoy his work.
And when he does pull out a win, everyone's
it's
like,
cool.
Thrilled for him.
Right?
Yep.
So I think he really serves either purpose. Like, he's a great surprise babyface win, or he's a good sympathetic babyface who's going to get his ass beat. He's a quality win for other people. Mm-hmm. He puts in a good shift every time. Like, Briscoe's a really valuable part of this roster, which is not something I thought I would have said when he came in after his brother died. But I think, obviously, it's super tragic what happened, but I think at the very least, he's been able to make the best of things after Jay died, and he's carved out a really good niche for himself on the roster. And so I really like seeing his work every week. And even though this wasn't the best, I'm still happy to see him on the show.
Yep.
Anytime he's
never
wrestling.
bad.
And Okada's solid. It gets him momentum before All In, so that's totally fine. That's the one thing I didn't love about this show being kind of exhibition is that I feel like even with the 4 hours, we still did a decent job of building storylines the last couple of weeks, even though they're like specials. Yeah. Because it was still AEW shows. But this one, I feel like is the only show where it really felt like a stopgap.
Because it was literally match to match to match to match.
And then I think this show is also a fault for the build issues for All In, because like the last couple of weeks we've been building our next match, which is MJF and Mystico, right? Mm-hmm. But that's like 2 weeks of MJF been calling him out or teasing this or whatever. And it's just like, it's for this, and I don't really care about it, and it's just, it's whatever.
Speaking of.
Right. Mystical came out to a different theme that didn't sound very good, but the crowd really loved and were singing along to.
Oh, right. I was like, I do not like this, but everybody else seemed to love it.
Yeah, he's wearing the Mexican flag colors. MJF's in his U.S. flag attire, but with the MVP, like, jumpsuit style attire or whatever.
I like that he's adopted the MVP.
I think it's fine. I don't think it looks good, but like
it
looks
fine.
I like why he's doing it. You know what I mean? It's like when Nick Jackson looked like an idiot every week.
Yeah.
In and out. But like I like why he's doing it. I don't love the look for him. Because he's also okay. I just don't think it fits him, and he's also shredded, so like why would you do that?
Fair.
But I do think it's funny as him like trying to indoctrinate himself into this. Like I think it's funny. And the MJF lettering on the back kind of works instead of MVP. Mm-hmm. Like it makes sense. So I don't hate it. I just aesthetically I don't love it. MJF counter code red attempt, hit a powerbomb backbreaker for 2. Handspring back elbow from Mystico. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Dorada's doing such cool stuff, and he's just doing like that. Like I rewatched the 2018 men's War Games match, and Hansen was doing the same thing.
Yeah, Hansen.
And he's like twice the size of Mystico.
At least.
Right? That was also a sweet War Games match. I watched that, and then I was going to watch Undisputed Mustache Mountain, and then I didn't. So maybe I'll watch that later. Because I've watched that like at least a couple times since Netflix got their stuff. Because like, oh man, I was thinking, because that was the day after I watched the Bucks match last night. If you could get Prime Bucks against Roddy and O'Reilly in their prime, that's like a dream match. Because I'll always say Roddy and O'Reilly, even though they didn't have like a crazy long run, that's gotta be one of my favorite tag teams ever. And honestly,
what about Bobby Fish?
hot take: Roddy and O'Reilly are better than Red Dragon.
Wow.
Like, especially because Bobby Fish kept getting injured, so I don't really like. I love Undisputed Era, but I could give a crap about Bobby Fish.
I know. I enjoyed Red Dragon in their day, though.
Yeah, I didn't see Prime Red Dragon, but I mean,
They were dope.
Roddy and O'Reilly, and because Roddy is such a cardio machine, so I like, and then he's a little different from O'Reilly. Instead of doing both like the technical MMA thing with Fish and O'Reilly, it's like now you have a hybrid thing, right? One might even call him the hybrid too, except you wouldn't because Jack Evans is MIA.
He is.
Why didn't we get Angelico on here? He does Mexico, right? I don't know. Springboard crossbody and tilt-a-whirl DDT for Mystico. Like the springboard crossbody does is like the typical basic lucha libre flying stuff. Like I said, he's just so. He's not bad. He's not even botching anymore. He's just basic.
I know.
Like, it's just so not interesting to me. There's a tombstone on the ramp from MJF. Mystico gets MJF from La Mystica, which is basically a tilt-a-whirl into the salt of the earth.
It is.
He taps, but MVP is the ref distracted, so no fall. MJF with a low blow and a roll-up for a near fall. Low blow in front of the ref again, so it's a DQ finish. MJF on mask. Mystico wears it. Various baby faces make the save. It's not worth noting.
I actually thought the match itself was kind of enjoyable just because
I couldn't get
MJF's in his element, right?
Being that is true. Which I heard he got like someone came after him at the hotel,
right?
After,
That's
so he
what
got
I'm
that
saying.
80s type heat. But that's what I didn't love is that it's like that America versus non-America 80s type beef. Except now the America is Mexico because we're in Mexico. You know what I mean?
But
it's just
there's
like
dynamics at play within the American.
There is, yeah.
Right now, so I don't know. I kind of liked it, and it seems like they're going to run it back. Right, this isn't the end when they rip his mask off, which is again an awesome way to get heel heat. They're really.
I really hope that they do the rematch in Mexico.
Hurt Syndicate as heels.
I like that though.
There's like
I feel like they were supposed to be.
And whatever. No, I agree. And they were just the cool heels people were cheering for. But now they're really trying to get heat. So
I like
a good
that.
way to
and
do
that's kind of the good part of MJF being in there is that he can bring them that heat back that they weren't really getting because they are really enjoyable and really likable. But now with MJF, they're kind of bringing that heel heat back, which I think is important. And Jet Speed were in the post match, so hopefully we're setting up that tag title match.
Could be, yeah.
I'm really curious, like, what do you think the tag title match could possibly be for All In? Because I think our big tag match we're going to get is Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay, which should be awesome, but that has obviously nothing to do with the tag titles. So I don't know what, like, your ideal match for the
Hurt
Syndicate is. Because FTR are heels, so I don't think you can do that. No. And I think maybe you'll do something with Copeland with them. I think, like, they already beat the Guns, which aren't big enough anyways.
Does it take Jet Speed that long to get?
But I just don't know. Jet Speed, is that like an all-in match? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I mean, you could. I think Jet Speed are awesome.
It would be fun.
It'd be a good match. And I wouldn't even be mad if they won. But I'm just wondering if like they're built up enough. You know what I mean?
Nobody is, though.
Yeah. So I guess maybe they're the next best thing.
I think so.
But yeah. This was fine, about what I expected in the old school kind of dynamic, which was over, but didn't overly invest me. And I guess it was good for the live crowd because they love Mystico, but it didn't do a ton for me because I don't understand the hype for Mystico. Even here, like I don't get it.
He's fine.
He's fine. That's the thing. They treat him like they're talking about him like he's their Hulk Hogan or their Cena.
He's Rey Mysterio 2.0.
But like, they make him sound like he's bigger. It's just I don't get it. And maybe I need to see some clips of Prime Mystico, but like I don't know. You got a Hero's Welcome, that was neat, but it would have been so much cooler if like I felt he was worth the hype. You know what I mean? Everything we've seen up at this point,
he wasn't botchy. It feels
disproportional. That's the best thing I can say, right? MJF employed a classic heel tactics, and that was great, but there are no stakes to this either, so I wasn't overly invested. Like, not a bad match, it's just I think MJF's time is better spent on other things. Then we get to a 4-way for 4 million pesos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those money matches for
$200-something thousand, they said.
Yeah. It's Ricochet, a hologram, Leo Rush, and Mascara Dorada. Dorada hit a really killer pump knee to Ricochet that looked nasty. Mm-hmm. Hologram with a springboard crossbody, or he went for a springboard crossbody and caught midair perfectly with a dropkick from Ricochet. Ricochet and Rush double team Hologram. Dorada with a destroyer to Ricochet. Crucifix bomb to Hologram from Dorada. Ricochet kills Dorada on the cave-in.
Oh yeah, that
he's
awesome.
been nailing that. Then Rush comes in the Poison Rana. Hologram gets Rush in Fireman's Carry and Rush with another Poison Rana. Final hour to Dorada from Rush, but Ricochet breaks the pin. In the finish, Hologram gets the win with a killer portal bomb to Rush, which is
Looked
that
good.
torture rack blue thunder bomb. But he like spun the crap
He
out
did.
of him and then nailed it. Like it looked sick.
I thought this match was pretty awesome. It was
Definitely my favorite match so
but
far.
I thought Ricochet and Rush,
Wow.
Leo Rush, they had really good chemistry working together for the time that they did. And then I thought Dorada and Hologram, they're probably two of my favorite luchadors. And again, I like them better
agree.
than anything else we see from CMLL. I thought they looked great. It's weird. I wasn't expecting Hologram to win, but then when you look into it, he hasn't lost ever.
No, he hasn't.
So what are they doing with him? Like he
was
got to
a
have
collision
like
guy.
20 whatever wins
He's
and
a
no
collision
losses.
guy.
So I don't understand. Like,
Well,
but-
because what can you do with him? I don't know if I've ever seen him speak.
so he has.
I feel like he's
does
just gonna
cool
keep
stuff.
winning and have good matches. Because isn't he the Tony Khan childhood project?
Yes.
Right.
So I just think it's weird that he never loses and they don't really mention it, and it's not really
But
paying off.
he's
in anything.
entertaining.
He is. The portal bomb looked awesome.
Portal bomb
so,
looks sick.
Anyways, yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a lot of fun.
By far my favorite match so far. It had a really good pace. The action was all over the place. A lot of dives and throws in the barricades look nasty because they literally talk about how the barricades are bolted in the arena.
And then remember, right after they said that, somebody like just kind of in the distance ran into one, and it just awful.
Looked devastating. Yeah. Rush definitely got to stand out a little towards the end. I thought it's good for him. I really like seeing him. Like we've talked about it, he's really cool. I would have liked if we gave Ricochet the win, I think, just to give him some momentum. But he didn't take the fall, so he's not like worse off here. And Hologram's a popular win, and his finish absolutely killed. So
looked good.
That was cool. Then we got Mercedes Moné challenging Zeuxis for the CMLL World Women's Championship. And I was saying to you, it's crazy that about a year ago these two faced off as Zeuxis was tag champ with Vicaire, who was CMLL champion and also strong women's champion. And it's crazy that she's the one who lost the strong title to Moné because I feel like she had that belt forever. And like I feel like Vicaire's been in WWE for a while, even though it's like barely been a year.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And WWE snapped her up crazy quick after Forbidden Door, so it's just crazy how that all happened.
Which was smart. I think she's awesome.
I do think so, yeah. Although I wish AEW took her because it would have helped their women's division and it would save me from Booker T.
I know.
Booker T.
The crowd has altered that a little. I'll get to that too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Some notables: Moné dove off the middle rope. Zeuxis caught her right into a butterfly lung blower for two. Pretty crazy. Cool. Two-side dive from Zeuxis. She looked like she hit her hard on the floor.
I gasped, man. I thought she was close to really hurting herself.
Avalanche Spanish Fly from Zeuxis for two. Then Moné counters an avalanche slam and pins her for the win. Then we get a brief bit with Storm after she chases Moné and gets to the ring. Refs break it up. Storm says one thing, and then that's it.
Kind of a showcase for Zeuxis, right?
I thought it was really weird because I felt like Moné was on the back burner for pretty much the entire time. Like I didn't note a single thing she did, and I can't remember a single thing she did either.
And I thought Zeuxis looked good.
She looked good. I just thought it was weird.
Minus almost dying on the floor, but I find Zeuxis more interesting than most of the male wrestlers because she brings something different, right, in the women's division. Whereas some of the men we're seeing feel like lesser versions of what AEW already has or had, right? Like they're no Lucha Bros. We already talked about liking Dorada and Hechicero, and the other ones are just kind of like the ones we already have are better. So I don't
exactly. Or like we've seen back when AEW were working with AAA, we saw Vikingo, who's crazy, right? Like there's even people that we've seen in AAA that are a lot more. Actually, I say people. I really can't think of anyone that cool other than Vikingo.
Yeah.
But still, right? Like there's people we've seen that are more interesting.
For sure. Storm,
even
Hologram. The aftermath, her in the red jacket suplexing Moné and the kind of
was that like Carmen Sandiego or is that something else? Because it looks like Carmen Sandiego.
And it was just kind of like Sonic losing all his coins because her belts were flying everywhere.
She has like 6 now.
So that was kind of funny.
I was telling you, she's got to be coming for Ultimo Dragon in his 10 belt picture because he had the J Crown, which is I think 8 different junior heavyweight titles.
Yeah.
And then he had something else and the IWGP, I think. No, was that IWGP? No, I think the IWGP was separate. But anyways, IWGP was in the J Crown because I actually watched a video talking about all the belts in the J Crown. It's so confusing because there's like 2 different NWA belts. There's 2 NWA belts that look the same, and then there's like some other ones that are NWA affiliated. Like it's the J Crown is the most confusing mess ever because basically, long story short, I don't know if you know.
I don't.
But it was a tournament with 8 different junior heavyweight / cruiserweight type champions.
Yeah.
And winner would get all of them. And it's like when they did the Continental Crown with Eddie Kingston, except 8 belts. And so Ultimo Dragon won that from somebody. It might have been Great Sasuke. And then he also had the WCW belt and something else. So he had like 9 or 10 belts. But the J Crown is such a confusing mess. Anyways, Moné's going for that because she's got 6 belts. Although, like, it includes... See, the thing with her 6 belts is that the Rev Pro belt is made up of 2 belts. Because there's the Rev Pro belt and the Queen of Southside belt, which are the undisputed British women's title, which is the Rev Pro. So that's 2 belts. And then one of the belts is the Owen Hart belt, which is an actually defendable title. But you have the 2 Rev Pro ones, the Owen Hart one, the TBS... the CMLL, and then that one she got from the one indie place somewhere. I forget where it's called. It was somewhere interesting.
Sure.
But like, anyways, it is interesting. I gotta think she's winning at All In.
I would assume so.
Because what else can you do with Storm? Like,
I know.
You can't. And with Moné, it's like 7 belts. I guess you gotta do it. See, that's the issue with this, is there's not really an outcome that I really want.
No, I don't really care too much. I'm just hoping the match is awesome.
Yeah.
And then I don't really care.
There's not really an outcome that I want from that, whereas like Hangman, it's like, Hangman.
For sure.
Anyways, then we got our main event, which is Ospreay, the Ops, and Swerve Strickland against Death Riders, Young Bucks, and Mordos.
Mr. Moné.
Mr. Moné. Yeah, we should have put that in our news. Mordos is with Moné.
And he's going to be a lawyer, or is
main eventing already. So I had 2 questions regarding the Ops. Have they even defended the Trios titles yet? And what are we doing with Hook? I guess that kind of got answered.
You did talk about that in news.
But, yeah, I literally wrote, if the answer is nothing, then that's fine. It can just be like how Wardlow fizzled out the Undisputed Kingdom. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And I said Mexico's a backwards landing, so they taught the Death Riders how to use the entrance stage.
They did.
So that was interesting. Ospreay Mordos, one hell of a way to start there. That was pretty interesting. Bucks hit Ospreay and that's what you're saying, like that's AEW, and that's already more interesting. Or yeah, there's another Lucha guy who's more interesting than anyone in CMLL, Mordos.
Right.
And he's a AAA guy.
Yeah.
But Mordos is awesome.
Love Mordos.
Bucks hit Ospreay with a catapult into a corner Gamgiri, followed by a double foot stomp from Nick on Matt's knees. Swerving Ospreay with some combo offense to Yuta. Yuta took a corner splash from Hobbs, boot from Shibata, elbow and Saguri from Joe. Sky Twister press to the floor onto a pile from Ospreay. Hobbs gets a hot tag flurry. It takes 4 guys to take Hobbs down, but then he takes him anyways. I think it was Death Riders in the Bucks, so everyone but Mordos. Ospreay and Swerve with stereo planchas to the outside onto the Bucks. Yuta gets hit with the corner splash from Hobbs, and then a nasty hesitation drop from Shibata. Got all of it. Hobbs gets gutted by a spear from Mordos, and he gets hit with that corkscrew suicide dive. Mordos and Joe trade shots, then Mordos gets dropped to Joe's Uranagi out of the corner. Then the Bucks take out Joe. Ospreay gets caught with a double super kick. He ducks an EVP trigger, double Oz cutter, then Swerve with a dive to the floor to take out the Bucks. Finish comes on Ospreay and Swerve double team Mox. Shafir distracts the ref. Nick shoves Swerve off the top. Mox rolls him up with a handful of tights to get the win. Then the heels beat down Swerve after the bell. Hangman's music hits. He makes his way down. He gets in Mox's face and they start trading blows. Yuta gets taken out. Mox throws Hangman in the apron. Goes for a buckshot. Matt Jackson gets taken out instead. Nick looks upset and he drags Matt out of the ring. Then Hangman stands above Mox as the other faces kind of back him up, and so Mox retreats. I think he's going for a briefcase shot because I think he had it in hand.
It was a really enjoyable main event.
Very fun. A lot more enjoyable than the 14-man tag. Like, I thought this was the max amount of people for a fun match.
And it was all people we generally enjoy, too.
That's agree. I agree. That's agree? Whatever.
Yeah, that's agreeable.
Yeah. It is a great...
That is agreeable.
That is agree. Great talent pool here, and it's a little bit of storyline purpose because you have the baby faces against the Death Riders and the Bucks who they've been feuding against, right? So like there's at least reason for the people to be working together. So at least it's not just it's very random in the opener. At least this feels like something that would be on Dynamite anyways because it makes sense. The only thing that didn't make sense was Mordos, but that's like your lucha flavor.
People
right?
were pretty hyped for Mordos Joe to square off. I noticed in this.
I love Mordos,
but there's all kinds of cool combinations in this, and I thought it was well done. Didn't feel too long or anything. I really liked it. I wasn't a huge fan of the finish, but there was good action along the way for sure.
I don't even mind like Death Riders getting some wins before All In,
That's
adding
fair.
their profile, because I think the last couple of weeks they've done a good job in like kind of reinvigorating the Death Riders a bit, and so even if it's a cheap win, it's like a win's a win. And I will say, even though we don't like Chicken Heel Moxley, I like that at least it made sense for him to back out this time.
It does.
He was all alone.
Discretion's the better part of valor.
All of the what?
That.
Okay. He was all alone, and he's outnumbered by like 5 people.
Yeah.
One of which is Samoa Joe, a real beast of a man,
Yep.
and then big old Hobbs. You know what I mean? And so, at least if he's gonna chicken out, it should be with purpose. And I think this was, because it's not like he's there and then three people get in there to even it out, and then he's just like, oh crap, let's get out of here.
No, it was just him.
Right? Like, it's so I like that at least he's chickening out within reason, because that's totally okay.
Yeah.
We don't want stupid heels.
No.
But that's what we were saying the other week, is like the Death Bearers should be getting grossly outnumbered, and that's when, like, they should be retreating when they get grossly outnumbered, and then pick people off backstage that happens less, and then if they get outnumbered again, then they can chicken out again. But like, this definitely worked better. Really strong lineup of people. Random's hell to throw in Mortos, but I'll never complain about him being here.
Nope.
And yeah, first Dynamite after him and A go public, he's in the main event.
Straight to the top of the
Technically,
card.
the happy couple both won tonight,
That's true.
and she won a title, so they must be living good. Overall, good match though. Everyone got some time to shine. I especially really liked Ospreay and Swerve working together, just to kind of get that story going. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I just kind of like that they're working together, especially after they like killed each other last
They
week.
did.
I think that's kind of funny, but it also kind of makes sense for them, right? Like, they patched it up since last week, so I think that's cool. And they both got to wrestle Mox a bit, so that was interesting. Hangman's post-match appearance was kind of good too, and I like that up because it furthers the angle. Because he's kind of helping Swerve for once, right?
Yes,
He's kind of saves
he is.
him, and it furthers the angle with the Bucks, because like he hit Mac by accident, which he shouldn't care about. But so Nick gets upset with him, and then I couldn't tell if Hangman cared or not, because like he was kind of just staring at Nick. So I was like, I was kind of curious.
And
you know
Hangman
what I mean?
deals in subtlety all the time.
Right? So that I'm kind of interested what the angle is there, because obviously they're not working together,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like, and they're not friends, but are they? Like, it's just interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where that goes after this week.
Yeah. Overall thoughts, I guess I wasn't a huge fan of the show.
I wasn't overly big on it, no.
I didn't really feel like much was important, right? It was kind of a showcase for their affiliation with CMLL.
Which I think is fine, but I would have rather this than, like how the last Grand Slam took a collision slot. I would rather this take a collision slot.
Me too. And none of the matches really blew me away, and none of the CML talent, like I said, that aren't already in AEW impressed me much. And also, to be fair, I may be suffering from a bit of lucha fatigue because it seems to be everywhere right now.
The timing with this and Worlds Collide is a little...
So I thought it was below average, so I went C+, minimal storytelling, a lot of wrestling that was good but not great kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that, just because it's nothing bad here, but it was just a lot of matches that aren't overly interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of like... It was a showcase, and a showcase that didn't like dazzle me, basically, is the bottom line.
Yeah, a solid showcase.
All right, so we'll move into a little bit of trivia before we go back to wrestling. We call this segment Off the Top of His Head. Trying to keep things timely. So in honor of isn't the right way to say it, probably, but because of Liv Morgan's injury, I'm going down the path of, worst injuries, okay? So I'm going to need your help on how to go about it, because I'll tell you, I said, list and describe 15 of wrestling's worst injuries in WWE, WCW, and AEW.
WCW, why? Because Sid.
The 1990s to today. They did throw a New Japan in here. So for each one, it's giving me who it is, what the injury was, what the company was, the event, and the year. So what's the best? Like, what do I need to give? What do you want to guess who it is? Or I tell you who it is in the event and you guess the injury? Do you know what I mean? There's so many options.
I feel like it's best to go event, and then like you could give me hints towards the person in
Just
injury.
the event?
I'd say, okay, go event, and then like...
Okay. And then I have the other as hints.
Yeah, and like I'd say
I
the
think it'll
last
work.
thing I guess is the person at the very least. Like if you have to tell me the injury good, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like at minimum I'm guessing the person.
Okay. WWE Hell in a Cell 1998. Tough one.
It has to be Foley, right?
Right. It is. And what was the...
Oh, I don't know. I know he
This
had like
one's-
his tooth in his nose.
This
but,
one's
like,
multiple,
didn't he
right?
like dislocate his shoulder or something like that?
So knocked unconscious, tooth through lip, dislocated shoulder, and more.
Yeah. Okay, I got two.
Okay. This will be tougher. AEW just says 2020, 2021.
That's not fair.
Broken nose and leg injuries.
Omega?
Female.
Oh, Baker.
Yes.
Duh. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
This one I remember. WWE NXT 2020. if I describe it, it might bring it back to you. Dislocated ankle, fractured leg, torn patella tendon,
Cross, right? No.
catching a dive.
Wasn't it Cross?
No, 22. Oh, maybe that's
Rich Holland.
yes.
Yeah.
2020 feels too early though.
It was either that or 21. Like they're in the right
That
ballpark.
was gross. I remember.
Oh
that one.
yeah. Because didn't he catch Oni Lorcan and then ended up joining them and Pete Dunne?
Oh yeah, it was
Right?
Oni Lorcan.
I
Oh,
knew
so
Oni
that's
Lorcan
probably
was
the
there.
right year then.
It probably is. He probably came back in 21.
You
then.
might get this one. It's a famous one. WWE Smackdown 2022.
Biggie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fractured C1 and C6 after a botched belly-to-belly suplex.
Yeah, I'm really scared that guy's never coming back.
WWE Raw debut 2015. Oh, I remember this
Sami
one.
Zayn?
Because
He's like doing his entrance taunts and dislocates his shoulder.
Tore his rotator
That's crazy.
cuff. I remember that because he was doing the thing where he swings his arms.
Because he gets super energetic. That's crazy. And then he went out and wrestled like a sick match with Cena too.
That's funny. All right, this is working out well actually. WWE, I would get this one. SummerSlam 2016.
Balor.
Yes. On the
Dislocated shoulder.
tore his
the
labrum
barricade.
when what was the buckle bomb into the barricade bomb, I guess. AEW Dynamite 2022. Yep.
Cash.
Nope. Think bad. Dislocated elbow.
Oh, Phoenix.
After a
I
choke
still
slam
have that
through a
video
table.
saved.
That's disgusting.
Because I would send it to my friend and he hates it. So I would keep sending it to him.
This one's kind of hard.
That one was gross.
WWE 2001. Neck surgery. Severe spinal damage requiring fusion.
Edge. Benoit.
No. Benoit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next one before that, think that you just said
Sid.
it. No, you just said
Edge.
Neck injury, multiple years. Okay,
Yeah,
so we'll skip
okay.
that one.
That could be like that's so many people though. Like
W-
Daniel Bryan.
WWE live event 2007.
Cena.
Retore opposite quad.
Triple H.
Yes. Number 5, WWE Raw 2001.
Triple H.
Completely tore his quadriceps. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I've seen that clip so many times.
So New Japan, you heard the prompt. I still got New Japan. I think because it's a very famous one. G1 Special 2018. Broken neck.
Shibata.
Hiromu Takahashi.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I said not to put it in there. I think you'll get this one. Smackdown taping 1999. Bad.
Don't
Guy
know.
still
I feel bad
paralyzed.
for saying Owen Hart. Draws.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Poor
I
D'Lo
don't think
Brown.
Owen Hart counts as an injury.
SummerSlam 1997.
Oh, Austin. Yeah.
Correct.
That was with Owen Hart.
And number 1, WCW Sin 2001.
Sid.
Yeah.
That show should be called Sid.
That one is the worst.
Or there's the one where at ROH, remember when Penta does the super destroyer through the tables and then Dante's ankle is just jelly?
I would suggest if you could have seen it, the Cash Wheeler one would have been terrifying too. The one where he caught the hook of the
I want to see it, but I'm terrified.
that one sounds.
I'll never watch
Penta's
it.
was among the worst I've seen too.
Penta?
Or sorry,
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Phoenix
That one
is really
disgusting.
that one's gross, but I think Sid is like
Sid's is the most because you can't not
Sid
see
is
it.
forever.
You don't
It's
need
so
you don't need a replay.
and like with this shiny boot, it just looks so rubbery. It's just
It's like the boot's empty.
It's so bad.
So
And it's
bad.
like,
and he's doing nothing too.
well, he's doing a middle rope big boot. Who does that?
And his
I
leg
guarantee that
says,
move was never attempted before or since. Because, like, I forget he was told to do that by somebody, and then, like,
Bad
it's
idea.
the worst thing ever.
It was
like,
bad.
wait, is that the no? Because it's Greed that's on. That's on.
I was watching that
YouTube,
live
right?
at the time when he did that.
That's it's got to be the worst one.
But anyways,
like,
that was a fun foray into trivia, and I don't think we've done that before, so that was kind of fun.
Definitely not.
All right, we'll go back to talking more wrestling. We'll look at Raw, NXT, we call it, Highspots and Restholds. Starting it with Raw this week, the first immediate high spot for me, no Pat McAfee on this show.
Gotta love that.
We got Corey Graves, I think it was, who apparently is back in the good books based off his performance of Worlds Collide. He was good, I thought.
He was pretty good.
So Liv Morgan starts the show on the mic, talking about how it's her division. When we talk about the women's division, we have to talk about her. She kind of makes fun of Io for sucking up to Nikki Bella and brags about being a 4-time champion. She's demanding the rematch that she never got. Io interrupts, says that Liv has been disrespectful to Nikki Bella and to Io, so if Liv wants to fight, they can fight. Liv says she only wants to fight for the belt, or Io can just give it to her, since Liv has beaten her Io more times than anyone else has. Io starts to hand the title back to Liv, actually does, then drop kicks her and kicks her out of the ring, kicks Dom, I think, once as well. It was okay. Like, it's straightforward, right? Liv looks a little bit dumb for thinking that, like, Io's just going to give her the title. Like,
Yeah.
you should just give it to me. Oh, yeah, you're right. Here you go. Like, and Liv's just kind of like, thanks. Again, at this point, I'm like, feels like we're heading towards Io and Nikki versus Liv and Raquel, right? Or Liv
I
and
thought
Roxanne.
it was going to be Liv and Raquel
Probably
against the Bellas.
That is more star. Oh, both the Bellas? You don't
tag
think?
titles.
Oh, my God.
You think they wouldn't want to give the Bellas the tag titles at least once? Come
Gross.
on.
And I was telling you, like, just Nikki Bella being inserted into things comes across really clunky. Like, Io being grateful to her
That's just ridiculous.
seems forced.
And Vaquer.
And Liv's kind of hatred of her feels kind of forced too. It's just like we're
No,
shoehorning.
I'd hate her too
We're
because she gives
shoehorning-
women's wrestling a bad name.
She's whatever. She's like a foundational piece of the women's division, we're told. Queen of the Ring, first round match. We get Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer, Asuka, and Ivy Nile. Asuka had pretty crazy face paint. She
had her old theme song back too.
She did. She and Vaquer start out, which is a match I would love to see at some point. Early on, the focus is Rodriguez overpowering everyone. Commentary. Oh, that's yeah. I have commentary. Commentary being quiet for a devil's kiss is refreshing. Rodriguez takes one on the apron, and these fans count instead of grunting. So I think we're going to transition into counting.
That's good.
Yes, it's better. Asuka drop kicks the other two off of Rodriguez's shoulders, takes control with some strikes. Ripley shows up to pull Rodriguez out of the ring after a Tejana bomb. Riptide on the floor. Rodriguez is thrown back in the ring, and we get the Empress Impact, is what Asuka's hip attack is called now.
Hypnotic.
Asuka wins after 16 minutes.
Just go back to the Asuka lock or do a Shining Wizard or something.
I thought the Asuka lock was cool. This was not as entertaining as the four-way from Raw last week, either of them, but solid, dragged a little bit at times. Niles seemed to really slow things down, both with Asuka and Vaquer, I thought, and the crowd wasn't into it the whole way along either, and I think multiple commercial breaks didn't help this, as it tends not to.
Yeah, that tends to be the case.
For a match with half the people being Asuka and Vaquer, I wasn't super impressed, because they're awesome.
But you could do a match with them down the line.
I think that would be awesome. New Day out to tell the fans that they can't find anyone worthy of facing them for their titles. They kind of mock the fans, and then they try to list tag team names, and they ran out after 5. And they were including New Catch, whatever. They included that as a team.
And they never do anything.
So they even were like struggling to list tag team at this point. Their promos cut off and just gone mid-sentence. Like literally just cut off and was over, and they didn't explain that there were difficulties or anything.
That's odd.
And again, like these guys are getting closer to go away heat than interest for me. And that's crazy. Because again, a moment that they could not follow up on. They had no plans for these guys after ditching Big E. It really feels like.
Segment too.
It was amazing. Judgment Day Clubhouse. Rodriguez is nursing her injuries from the 4-way, so she can't help Liv, so Liv's a little annoyed by that. Dom wants Finn to stay in the back for for JD's match against AJ Styles. Balor has no problem with that, and after the rest leave, he kind of sits down next to Rodriguez and is like trying to really be nice to her, kind of, because Liv is not. Liv's kind of rude, right? So this is Balor, I think, working his way in there. Roxanne walks in, and Balor wants to talk to her about something, even though Liv said that she wants to do things herself tonight. And I think like Balor's kind of shining in these segments, right? It's now like he's going to try and flip Rodriguez maybe, and just sort of he's trying to take Liv and Dom down.
Yeah, it's such a weird reversal of
It
last
is.
year.
I kind of like it. I think he's doing a good job of like
At least it gives him some agency.
creating crap and sort of enjoying the crap he's creating. You know what I mean? Yeah, it does. Gunther is in the ring to speak. He's untouchable, knows that he's a target for Rollins, so Rollins shouldn't waste any more time. Basically, like, here I am. I know I'm a target, so if you want to get it over with, get it over with. But instead, Goldberg come out, and he is old and really, really sweaty just from getting down the ring. He'll end Gunther's reign at Saturday night's main event because Gunther is next.
I'm very scared.
I hated this on several levels. Goldberg's like super past his prime. Can't be expected to have a good
He's even
match.
past his like old man prime, if you want to call it
Yes.
that. Like the prime of his return run was like the first couple times.
Gunther's going to have to just drag him around.
That's why I wish it was Goldberg and Jay. Imagine how horrible that would be.
And then the annoyance of him just walking into a title shot while other people are battling it out for King of the Ring.
Either that they're going through a tournament or they already went through a ladder match.
Right. So they do all of this stuff, grueling, whatever, and then Goldberg shows up.
Or even if you want to talk about Jay, at least he went through the Rumble.
Yes.
Or Cena went through the Chamber.
Right.
Like you have the Rumble, the Chamber, Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, all
Or
of
be
these
Goldberg.
things. Or be Goldberg.
Yeah. And you're
Or just be old and something.
famous.
Yeah.
The Saudis probably really want him there. Something.
It's not even Saudi.
I know, that's weird.
That's the crazy part.
That is weird. AJ Styles, JD McDonough. So I don't listen to commentary a lot, but I couldn't not hear them. So I told you, I think I read you all these, but we'll go over them again. So it's the first time these two have ever faced each other. So that's pretty cool. Should be kind of a big deal, at least to us. We love McDonough.
I love McDonough.
But they did it again. Quote, I think this was Graves. It was literally 30 seconds into the match. Despite all your incessant jokes about the size of his cranium, McDonough is a force to be reckoned with. So there's one. Graves, less than 2 minutes later, not JD's fault. He was born with the skull of a Minecraft character.
And then JD's clapback for that was great. It was like, not my fault you get benched every time McAfee shows up to work. I thought that was awesome.
Then I have Cole less than a minute later. McDonough now using that oversized cranium to balance himself. And then later, a headbutt with his, quote, big cranium. Really nice Ushi-Groshi by Styles. Dom pulls McDonough out of the ring to safety at one point. AJ chases Dom around until JD leaps over the barricade to take Styles out. Dom gets involved again. AJ counters the Devil Inside into, they're trying to push this Flash Clash now, where he hits a Styles Clash out of nowhere.
I kind of like that sometimes.
But the forcing of calling it the Flash Clash.
Oh, that's stupid.
So the win for Styles after 10 minutes. Dom tries to attack Styles with the belt after. Styles a step ahead. Balor comes out to pull Dom to safety. So disappointing to me considering the people involved. Slower than it should have been.
But that's AJ now.
And lots of camera cuts to Dom, right? Obviously, because it's more about that almost. JD was in control for a while, but he was even kind of working methodically, I guess, heel, trying to ground eight, the high flyer, which makes sense. Final couple of minutes were better. Nothing special, no drama. You know who the winner was going to be. Not enough action for me. Kathy Kelly with Penta. Penta's not afraid of the Seth Riders. No matter how many of them there are, he has zero fear, did you know? Not a little bit.
I kind of thought
Zero.
he had some.
Zero.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay, that's fair.
Bailey out to speak. She stops for the crowd to sing, but then they don't, and it's really awkward. It was really funny. They eventually chant for her instead. Lots of babyface chatter. She was robbed of her Mania match by Becky Lynch. She loves wrestling, does everything for all the right reasons. She calls Becky out. Becky says that Bailey settles for being second fiddle, but she won't. Bailey chooses her friends over her legacy. Bailey says her legacy is a future Hall of Famer, but she doesn't mind helping people. Becky says the people stopped fighting for her, so she stopped fighting for them. Nobody gave a damn about Bailey when Becky took her out. Bailey calls her insecure, says Becky cares too much about what the fans think of her. Bailey wonders if Becky remembers what it's like to fight for something, and Becky wonders if Bailey remembers what gold feels like. Ooh, I think that got her reaction. Becky says they can have a match, but not today and not for the title. Lynch slaps her. Bailey hits her with a forearm. And that's it. I guess like they're both really good performers. There's a clear heel face dynamic. Bailey has good reason for hating Lynch, right? She took her out and cost her whatever. And their matches will be good. I don't know. I'm just not quite as invested as they want me to be. I don't know if it's their fault or mine. I don't know. This is Evolution, I assume?
I would think so, yeah. Because they're also like the Four Horsemen, you know,
right.
Yada yada.
So they put butts in seats.
Big match. Maybe do a triple with Lyra. I think that'd be more interesting. Freshen it up at least. Because then you're not rerunning Lyra and Becky again. And I feel like Becky and Bailey, I don't think they've done a singles match, but it just doesn't feel.
And I don't even know if
fresh.
I made note of it, but Becky and Bailey did interact, and it was Lyra and Bailey did. Lyra saying, like, if you do become champion, I'm coming for you, sort of thing. So kind of paving the way for issues. Nick Aldis makes a couple matches. AJ versus Dom at Battle of the Belts. Bailey versus Lynch. Oh, that's next week, for the IC title. And
That's
then
crazy.
there it is. Bailey apologizes for ghosting Lyra. Lyra implies that she will be coming after Bailey if Bailey beats Lynch. Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, we talked about it. It went like a minute, and then that's where Liv separated her shoulder, so she was out. And they move on. Sami Zayn's backstage with Kathy Kelly. Something about his run towards this title feels different this time. Cross interrupts and says, nope, it's exactly the same. You're going to lose to Orton on SmackDown and stay at 0 while Orton will go off for his 15th or whatever it's called.
I mean, he was right.
Yes. Seth calls Cross a coward. He's like, at least I put myself out there. You stay back here and talk crap to people and don't actually do
Seth
anything.
Or Sammy?
Sammy says that to Cross.
Okay, I was going to say.
Sammy says he's done listening to Cross, is focused on King of the Ring, but when he's done with all the King of the Ring stuff, he wants a match with Cross, and Cross says it's about time. So I think that Sammy's got this program with Cross. So whatever that means, I don't know. We're going to get a Cross match. Are you excited?
I mean, I guess.
You do like Cross now, which is crazy in itself. But I can't imagine. I mean, Sammy can pull them to a good match.
Yeah, and this is storyline purpose.
It is. Main event was Bronson Reed, Sheamus, Rusev, and Jey Uso, the King of the Ring qualifier as well. Uso still has his midsection all taped up. Reed slams Rusev through the hood of the announce table at one point. I thought Reed looked pretty dominant, continuously targeting Uso's midsection. Did kind of telegraph the finish, right? It's clearly the resilient babyface story here. Sheamus off the top to the floor to clothesline Reed, which was an interesting. You don't see Sheamus off the top too much. He also impressively hit a white noise to Bronson Reed. That looked pretty nuts. Good reaction for that. Okay, ready for the finishing sequence? There was a lot. Sheamus knee, brogue kick for Rusev, but a senton by Reed to break up the pin. Tsunami to Sheamus, broken up by Uso. Uso spear to Reed. Uso up top for the splash. Breaker shows up to shove him off. Sammy out to attack Breaker. Sammy gets thrown over the announce table. Penta down to dive onto Breaker. Bronson Reed, Death Valley Driver, back in the ring to Uso. He goes up top. LA Knight shows up to push him off. Uso spear to Reed, 2 splashes, and the win for Jey Uso after 18 minutes. So super convoluted finish, everybody running down. The match itself was good. Another good 4-way. High impact stuff all over the place. Jey not really doing too much other than just being resilient and taking a beating basically with his injured ribs. The finish is definitely convoluted, but it's furthering several stories at once.
I think they're setting up Knight and Rollins.
Are they?
That's what I've heard.
I really like the match, other than the fact that it was all in service of Jey Uso advancing, which would not be my choice. But
the fact that it was him and not Dragon, I was so disappointed.
It is really disappointing. You got my hopes up. Rollins comes out afterwards looking to pick Uso's bones, but Cody Rhodes' music hits and he runs down for the save and reminds me of how much I really don't enjoy seeing him. I groaned when his music hit because it meant he was coming on to Raw.
You haven't missed him?
No. He and Rollins stare down. Rollins backs away, leaves with Heyman. Cody and Jey shake hands. So that was that. NXT did not enjoy this episode. Way too much Tony D'Angelo and still a lot of TNA people with a bunch of average matches. We start with a reminder that all of the women are after JC Jane for the title, and I only make note of it because it's, how do you feel about presenting your main champion as beatable?
It's good self-awareness, I guess. Like,
I feel like at first I'm like, that's kind of weak, but if she can keep winning by cheating
Then it's okay. It's
Then
kind
it
of like
could
the
work.
when they had Solo Sikoa being like the pretender to the throne, but like it's like I'm trying to tell if they're doing that on purpose or it's
Right.
because they're incapable of making them look credible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, are we leaning into that because we're being meta or because we can't do anything else?
Because it's like all these women are coming out of the woodwork because they want to challenge her because they just see her as.
So is that like I don't
right?
know.
So long run, it might not be great for JC Jane or the title, but it might make interesting storytelling.
I could see that. Yeah.
Right? There's something there that could work.
It's odd.
She keeps beating people, even though she's always the underdog as the champion somehow. I don't know. It could work. We'll see. We get first of our Evolution eliminators, Thea Hale, Jada Parker.
They stole the eliminator line from AEW.
They love their alliteration. They had to do it. Hale attacks Parker as Parker makes her entrance. Hale is going for like high intensity non-stop attack. Parker's trying to slow things down with power moves when she's in control. Pretty nice dynamic here. Either Parker has more tattoos or they've just been covered. Her back was covered in tattoos, so I don't know if I just haven't noticed or if she's wearing different gear. You know what I mean? Parker swings Hale around by the neck after a lengthy chin lock, then back to the chin lock. So it makes sense strategy-wise because you're kind of grounding Hale, but it wasn't fun to watch necessarily. Finish is Hale counters a hypnotic into Kimura. Parker, I like the finish here. Parker, you saw it, I think, right?
I did.
Parker powers out. Hale keeps reapplying it. Parker taps, but the ref's on the other side. So Parker's like tapping her own thigh because she's standing up in this Kimura. Ref can't see it. Hale, I think because she's like young and inexperienced, right? She releases the hold and starts to celebrate. And then Parker hits the hypnotic from behind for the win. I liked the match. I thought the finish was clever. I think it protects Thea Hale. I don't know. I just think
the hypnotic's a bad finish.
It's not the best.
The finish is inventive. It's just the finisher sucks.
Right. I like the idea of the ref not seeing her tap out.
No, I think that was inventive.
And Hale being like so enthusiastic and young that she breaks the hold without the bell ringing. So like a classic mistake sort of thing. So I like that. Briggs, Inamura, and Elijah have an awkward segment backstage where they're just basically summarizing their situation with Trick in First Class. It didn't feel very natural at all. Hank and Tank come in. I think they're basically like, when you guys are done with this stuff, we have title shot for you. Oba and Trick all walk in to remind us that they're all doing as well. Monroe vignette as she chooses a dress because she's there for the contract signing.
She's the glamour.
So it's similar tone to the thing last week, and she picks out a black. I don't know, is that a cocktail dress? Is that the right word?
I don't even know what a cocktail dress is.
But yeah, it's the whole like.
I really don't like it.
I don't know. I guess we'll get to we'll talk about her at the signing because you watched that. Yeah, you did, right? Another eliminator, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend. Lonnie stumbles on a rolling senton early. Similar to the opener, one's looking to push the pace in Kalani while the other wants to slow it down and use their power advantage, and that's Lash, obviously. Lonnie counters an avalanche back suplex into a pinning predicament for 2. Knees up on a Lonnie 450. Lash hits her finisher. You saw her finisher?
What was it again? Oh, yeah, it's like that weird. Yeah, it's okay.
She wins a spot in the number 1 contenders 4-way. So Lonnie continues to be hit and miss for me. She's capable of really good matches sometimes with the right, and not even like experienced opponents because we liked her and Ruka, right?
Yeah, because we saw their first. You watched their second match because that was recent, but I thought their match when we were live was actually solid.
Right, and then sometimes she comes across kind of bland and clunky. This one was fine. I agree with Lash winning because I feel like I'm not saying Lash is amazing. She's improved, but I don't think she's awesome. But they got to figure out. She's been there since what? Just before 2.0? 2.0
Lonnie?
For sure. No, Lash.
Lash has been there since 2.0, yeah.
So they need to kind of figure it out. Like, how long can she stay? You know what I mean? Before I know she's been.
I do think they should try giving her a title.
Mm-hmm.
I think she could beat. I think Zarya to beat Ruka makes more sense with the story they're telling, but like I don't know, Lash does deserve something, so it's kind of tough to say.
I know. Tony D in the ring to speak. Oh my God. I went from this segment, opened my best, worst of, and made sure I made a note of this story, the whole Tony D stuff.
I don't want to watch it.
He recaps the lame story he's been a part of. All he wants is Luca's trust and loyalty, but he isn't getting it. He tells Luca to get his ass out here so they can talk man to man. Luca comes out and explains that Stax let him out of the trunk. So he's like, what happened? He's like, the They zip-tied me, threw me in a trunk, drove me into the middle of nowhere, took my phone, and let me go, is what he's saying.
That's okay.
Tony still isn't sure if he can trust Luca. He wants to know why Luca just didn't do anything when he showed up at that match when he had with Stacks. And Luca said he isn't sure why he didn't help. Something like it was his first time making decisions on his own, so he like froze or whatever. Tony wants Luca to look him in the face and tell him if he's with Stacks. Luca starts to promise he's not, but Stacks comes out with a trio of guys in white t-shirts. It looked like Deuce and Domino, basically.
It did. I did see them. It did, yeah.
Stacks tries to convince Luca that he's treated Luca better than Tony has, and that there was a reason that he saved Luca in the desert. Luca would never be good enough for Tony. Stacks' henchmen attack Tony. Luca helps fight them off, but accidentally clocks Tony in the process because we have to slow burn the story nobody cares about. Like, we're still at the like, oh my God, who's Luca? Is he really loyal? Is he accidentally hitting him? No one cares. There is no end to this story that is an interest to anyone. And you're taking so long to tell it.
Women's match.
It's crazy.
There's not an outcome I want. It's like there's no interesting.
And it's week after week after week. It's, I don't know, man. I like Luca, but he's never been presented as anything even remotely important. And now he's like the centerpiece of a really boring angle.
This will be what they're trying to like take you away from All In with.
It just, yeah, good luck. It's doing nothing for anyone. I just can't imagine people being into this and waiting. Like, oh, I wonder where Luca's loyalties lie. Like, I'm so into this. I don't get it. And I don't have a problem with Stacks or Luca, to be honest. Later in the show, Tony approaches Ava about Luca and Stacks having a match, but Ava informs him that Stacks has a Heritage Cup match already and that Stacks' consigliere signed it off on it. So now, of course, does that mean Luca is, oh my God. And that's right. Worst storyline of the year contender, ?
If he's the consigliere, does he consigliate for himself as well?
No, because
I'm going to make it a verb.
He's not powerful enough to need a consigliere. He's just one, I think. First Class can't wrestle, so High Rise will replace them. Trick apologizes to Lee for hazing or something back in the day. They seem on the same page, and then it turns out
both heels now.
I was wrong. It was just Navarro is out, so you still get
I was gonna correct
Top
you.
Doll is still there. Chase U's
back.
back.
The one you really want.
This segment was insane too. So they're back in class. The kids are on time because remember they talked about it last week. They're on time and their little montage of them taking notes and being good students. And then Cale Dixon is trying to ask a question. Chase keeps cutting him off, tells him to adjust to Chase U and get tough. Dixon's upset and leaves. Connors goes with him and looks back at Chase and says, "What a shame." And then Chase starts yelling and screaming. So I have no idea what's going on here.
What?
Like, they were like in class doing their job as students. Cale Dixon tries to ask a question. Chase U keeps cutting him off. So he gets sad and leaves, and the other one's like disappointed in Chase.
Ascension already?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what was going on. So it was terrible. It's just the fun tone of Chase U is not there, and I don't know.
The cast isn't as good.
Like, a student wants to ask questions, the teacher doesn't allow it and gets mad, and then grown men get upset and leave. I don't know. Anyways, Tavion Heights and Javon Evans are asking Ren about talking to Dempsey about Tavion leaving the group as well now that Miles Bourne has. Ren says there are nuances and she hasn't talked to him. Evans sees Jasper Troy walking up, sort of congratulates him on his strong showing against Oba last week, but Troy tells him to get out of his face. Javon walks back to the No Quarter Catch crew. Dempsey is there now. Evans just point blank tells Dempsey that he should let Tavion go. Instead, Dempsey suggests that Tavion take on Javon Evans. If Tavion wins, he can leave. And they agree, but Javon is now like, oh man, now you're going to be stuck in this group because obviously he thinks he's going to win, right? Ren hugs Charlie and tells Tavion to get in here. So, I don't know. Evans' inclusion in this feels weird. It's like he just runs into them backstage. And
Javon versus Tavion sounds dope, though.
It does. I'm pretty excited about that.
I'd consider watching that.
He could just lose on purpose if he really wants to free Heights, right? Just
That's true.
Finger poke of doom.
Honestly, if Javon got on more PLEs that they gave him the North American title, he'd be my Fraxium.
He is really fun, yeah. He is worth... that makes sense. He'd be worth checking out. So, yeah, like you're saying, a Heights-Evans match I think should be really good. And I think we're getting a Troy Evans program as well, it looks like.
Gross.
Elijah Briggs, Inamura took on Trick, AJ Francis, Wesley. Not much to say. Chaotic sequence leading to Inamura pinning Trick with his top rope splash. Fine. Featured TNA talent that I don't have interest in, and Wesley is just kind of lost in the shuffle. Briggs and Inamura are cool, but they're just kind of drifting around too. And I don't know. I feel like Trick feels even less important now that he has the TNA belt. Because I guess just because I don't really see him. But that's not true. I do.
I feel like you probably see him a comparable amount.
But I don't know. Ruka and Zarya are being besties backstage. Paxley approaches them from behind, but they don't see her and leave. It's like she wants to come up and talk to them, but they walk away. Then we get Zarya, Izzy Dame in another eliminator match. Paxley comes out to ringside, basically hugs Ruka from behind. Ruka screams. This distracts Zarya, and when she turns around, Dame hits her with her finisher.
Sky High.
Oh, right. After 8 minutes. So I kind of like this match. I feel Izzy
The finish
Dame
was kind of
she's improving, potential to be something. Zarya looked good too, and she hasn't always looked good for me. Better energy in this match than the two previous ones on this show, I thought. The finish gets Dame a win over a quality opponent because she's kind of try something new. It looks like they're trying to get behind her. And again, it furthers possible Ruka-Zarya issues, right? Because whatever's going on with Paxley, it's kind of Ruka's fault for screaming or whatever. Later, Zarya is annoyed with Paxley. Ruka defends Paxley a little bit. Dame shows up to tell Paxley that she is not friends with Zarya and Ruka since they didn't include Paxley in their TikToks because this is adult behavior. I'm mad because you didn't put me in your TikTok. I mean, maybe that's accurate. I don't know. I don't know how the world works now. Briggs is pumping up Inamura, says Inamura deserves a TNA world title shot, and that Santino had to be watching because he pinned Trick, obviously, right?
This TNA guy.
Inamura says Briggs is his friend, and if he gets a title shot, he wants Briggs to have it. He envisions Inamura as a TNA world champion and himself as NXT champion. Briggs is obviously fine with that, and I think this is like they're getting along too well, kind of like Zarya and Ruka. Like, something's got to happen then. I don't know. Eliminator match, Lola Vice, Jordan Grace. Vader bomb countered into a triangle by Vice. Grace powers out of that.
I think I was here for this one.
I think you were too. Avalanche armbar thing and a back fist for Vice near fall. Stretch muffler suplex. You definitely
That was kind of cool.
And beast mode for the
was
win.
that countering like a kick or something?
Probably. Like Vice is very kicky. Good match. Same length as all the rest, so not very long. Not enough to get into that other
I'm going to
gear.
talk about her new Death Rebel theme.
Couple of nice near falls for Vice to keep her competitive, but Grace wins. And yeah, her Jordan Grace's new theme.
Holy generic Batman.
Not well received. Very generic is the right word. We get a Darvin yet to remind us he exists and that he is in fact the Heritage Cup champion. Love him. Hate to see he's becoming part of Tony D's orbit, joining that whatever.
It'll probably just be a one-off at least.
I hope so. And then the Monroe contract signing is the main event here. I thought Ava sounded less bad. Introducing
She also didn't have to speak too
Monroe.
much.
Jack hates her theme. Not sure I like it either. Kind of forgettable for a performer so talented. Does that make sense?
I don't.
You didn't like her theme. I know that.
No, it just, again, it's not the right vibe for her.
I know.
It felt too like poppy and like the Barbie type stuff. It's not good. It's not her.
It feels like Barbie movie.
Like
bit.
it's not, and maybe it's just because I've only seen AEW, but the AEW presentation was so good.
It
I
was
don't
so
care if
good.
they would rip it off.
She puts over the women's division, says it's hers now. And I don't know if it's because NXT is tightly scripted and maybe AEW isn't, but I wasn't a fan of her words ahead of signing the contract.
It was so
And she normally sounds great.
basic.
Right.
It might be the creative liberties, yeah.
I think maybe it's like word for word scripted, and AEW is kind of like, here's the gist of what we want you to get across. Now go
Because
do
her
it.
delivery and her diction was so great
Yes.
in AEW.
Fatal Influence come out, take exception to Monroe. Monroe calls them insecure bitches. She got to say the B word right away.
Yeah, I mean, really, I literally said it immediately too. I was like, oh my God. And you were like, what? I was like, she said bitches.
She got to say it. Jane tried to say something else, but Monroe slaps her. They brawl a little bit before numbers game. Slam through the table for Monroe. Your thoughts? I mean,
I'm not a fan. Like,
I said very paint by numbers.
I
Like,
can't say I hate it, but like, okay, so the theme I don't like. I don't love the overall presentation. I thought her promo was nothing compared to what she's done in AEW, and getting chumped out by JC Jane's like Timu Toxic Attraction is not.
and I feel like they're
great start.
trying to make Monroe a little Tony Stormish
I don't like
in
that.
their own way.
I just don't like it. It's not good.
She's coming across as less of a star.
I agree. It's
We were
ironic,
saying it
'cause, like,
reminded me of Frankie Monet a little bit,
which is not a compliment.
it's not.
And like they did such a good job of trying to make her look like a star in her first, like her debut appearance when she was up on the balcony, but I don't know. She just felt like it in AEW.
Is there a problem too with the I'm glamorous, I'm beautiful, sexual innuendo, I'm a babyface?
Yes.
Because they're establishing that here as well, right?
I also thought that was weird because that's not what I would have expected.
Right. So I don't know, man. A jury's still out, I guess, but I'm not loving it, and
I'm kind of.
it's gonna be tough. Her work in AEW was among my favorite run for women. Like, I'll always remember that. Like, I remember the Mickie James stalking Trish Stratus. I love that story.
Yeah, she had a great angle and just she always had great matches, always had great promos.
Charisma, just everything.
She was it. I know. I can understand wanting to make it to WWE because that's always going to be the big one.
Yes.
But I don't know, dude. She kind of had it made in AEW.
I know. I wasn't. I didn't love this segment. It feels like JC Jane is the champ to get it on to Monroe really fast.
I guess if she's a babyface, it makes sense. But it's just.
But then it makes the whole like most beatable champion ever. Like, it's gonna be like, yep.
She's like the modern day equivalent of when they would need to transfer the title onto one major babyface to another. It's like Vaquer isn't. They want to have Vaquer lose to Monroe. I almost said Monet. The names are.
I think Monroe should be a heel.
Absolutely. I think May should always be a heel.
I don't know. I
don't even like calling her Monroe. Like, I think
I
May
just
is
think
a heel.
they thought she was gonna get cheered no matter what, so we're gonna have to.
No, I think her. I don't know.
Let the fans cheer the heel. It hasn't hurt the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Anyways, you just watched a little bit of something from Smackdown. You want to?
I watched Cena's
about
pipe
it?
bomb. I was telling you, I thought it was cool because like, instead of Cena being put through the table and then Punk cut his pipe bomb after a match with R-Truth,
Yeah.
it's Cena after a match with R-Truth cutting a promo on Punk getting put through the table. And like he called Punk. He said he's not against TKO. He's Mr. TKO. He's not the voice of the voiceless. He's a millionaire. He's been regurgitating the same 5 mic moves since the pipe bomb.
Tell me when he's telling lies.
Yeah. He said he's jealous of Punk. He's got everyone believing he's the best in the world. He was the best in the world for like 7 minutes 14 years ago or whatever.
Nice.
Like, honestly, he mentioned Claudio, Nick Nemeth, and Cardona. I really like it. It's probably my favorite thing he's done since
The moment, again.
Since not even the moment, but I thought his first promo after he turned heel was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Like, since his first promo, I thought this was really interesting.
Because I don't think they can lean too hard into the you're a hypocrite for going to Saudi now, because that's insulting to the Saudis, and they can't do that, right? You can't say like one of your main guys was saying, oh, you guys are awful for going there, right? Because of the human rights, whatever. They can't. So he has to pull a different thread somehow.
But I think even still, the thread he pulled was good. I think it was well done. So I thought it was kind of cool. And I just think the reversal everything is kind of cool. It was kind of neat.
Nice.
And he's breaking the fourth wall and whatever. So I thought it was kind of cool.
Did you see anything else?
No.
Neither. What did we find out? Orton won, right?
Orton advances and Asuka as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's good for her.
I think we're done.
I believe so.
All right. That's pretty quick for us. About an hour and a half for episode 257. I guess Dynamite was all matches, so that made it faster. We had no pay-per-views.
Yeah, it was like the opposite of when we reviewed the 4-hour one.
So thanks for joining us, spending a little time with us talking wrestling. We always appreciate it. We will be back down here next Saturday for 258. And until then, everybody, take care.